For some wheels? I'm Johnny on the spot. I'll hook you up.
Hold on, is that Racky?
Damn. What's going on?
We got a little bit of wiring we got to do.
That's okay.
A backup alarm in on it.
Okay.
So I hear it quickly.
Oh, sick. That's sweet. Oh, awesome. Holy shit. Yeah, that's sweet. All right, guys, behind me is my 2024 LCF 4500. This is the crew cabover option that we've got here. So I'll do a quick walk around so you guys can see kind of what we're dealing with here, and then I'll get a little bit more in depth. So like I said, we've got 4-door cabover cab chassis. This one's a 4500. We've got an 8-foot by 16-foot aluminum flatbed done locally by Nichols Truck Bodies here in Jacksonville. 1,000-gallon water tank. We've got 6 Kings reels. 4 of them are 18s, 2 of them are 12s. We've got an AR. We have 3 8-gallon-a-minute GX690s, a 12-volt system, a RODI system, 4-stage, and 3 Flow Pro systems. Back here's kind of the main part of the truck where everything's going to be operated off of. You got your 3 machines plus your soft wash system here. On this side, we have our fuel system, so our fuel gauges, fuel fill-ups for the truck. For the units themselves, the fuel tanks are undermounted under the body, so it saves killing space on the flatbed itself. And then back here, we just have some, miscellaneous storage for the pole holder brackets. For here, for your water-fed pole, brushes, all that kind of good stuff. So that's kind of a quick walk around of what the truck has. Now we'll get a little bit more in depth and go over some of the systems. So we'll start off with the cab first, because I know there's not a lot of info out there about these trucks. So I'll show you the interior first. If you look over here, it's pretty basic. It looks like your average 80s bus driver, but it is very comfortable. So the crew cab option normally comes with a bar back here between these 2 seats, and I took this out because then it allows this driver's seat to recline as much as you want, so you can get pretty comfortable with it. So I'm about 6'1". I mean, you can see driving normal. You've got some good comfort here. The steering wheel adjusts so you can bring it forward towards the dash. You can lift it up and down. I normally ride with it all the way up and back, just because I like to kind of lean. And then if you got a long trip, you can recline it back a little bit more just to get comfortable. But it's got some good space. It really doesn't feel claustrophobic when you're driving this, because it is a cab over axle. You do feel more of the the road bumps and stuff like that. Kind of is what it is. This truck here did not come with some of the options that the others do, such as remote access. So I went ahead and installed a Viper kit inside of the truck. So this is the Viper key fob here. If you listen, it locks and unlocks the doors. It's a universal kit that can be added on to pretty much any vehicle, but like I said, there's no info for this truck, so it's pretty difficult to try and find a wiring schematic and stuff like that. But because your boy kind of knows what he's doing, it took him about 3 hours to get it sorted, and come to find out, the plug that sends the signal to these doors can be plugged into like 4 different locations on the box. So it would have been done a lot quicker if the instructions were clear. So that's kind of the remote thing. Other things that we add into this truck is a beautiful dash cam, because we live in a society these days where people don't take responsibility for their actions, so that will literally catch them in 4K. So the back seat here, plenty of room. It's actually got 4 seat belts, believe it or not. So I mean, you could stack a big crew of guys back here. Right now we're doing a decent bit of travel work, so we wanted somewhere to throw our luggage, throw winter clothes, all that kind of stuff. So right now we just got, yard signs, some spare hoses, Milwaukee batteries, kind of random stuff for our day-to-day work. But I mean, you can see just how much room there is, leg room, head room. I mean, it's massive. You could easily throw an air mattress back here if you were staying overnight on a commercial job and needed somewhere to sleep. So, and it's pretty comfy. It might not look like you have a lot of angled room, but the seats are pretty cushiony to make up for it. So, doors have their own, power windows and stuff like that. So it's not just controlled from the front. Some other info about this truck. This is the gas model. So I've heard a lot of bad things about the diesel ones. So when we went with a new one, we decided to do gas on this truck. This one's got, I think, 19.5s. Yeah, it's got 19.5-inch wheels. I know the 3500s and some of those come with the smaller 16s on them. So this has a little bit more payload capacity than those. However, we did run into a couple speed bumps that I'll get into later in the video. But that's kind of an overview on the chassis. Next, we'll move to this side of everything. Once I picked up the cab chassis, I immediately went and had some undercoating put on. So if you look down here, you can see there's already some dirt and stuff up there. It rinses off really easily. It's just surface. But we had them coat the frame just because I know with my experience with bleach, it doesn't care what it is, but it'll eat metal. And so this just helps keep everything fresh for a little bit longer. So plus all the dirt and stuff doesn't stick to the metal as easily. It gives you some room to rinse everything off and kind of keep up with it. Right off the bat, we got a 1,000-gallon water tank. It's a 1035. It's what they call a elliptical tank. So you can see it kind of looks like a pancake instead of your horizontal legs that are normally more squished in this way and they're a little bit taller. This one fit perfectly for this setup because it takes up basically all of that area on the bed in here, and it's less room lengthwise. So that's why we went with this style tank. We've got a 2-inch drain here, which is also dual purpose for our fire hose connections. Like I said, we are doing more larger scale stuff with this, so we need to push as much water into the tank as possible. We also have 3 auxiliary water hookups here for garden hose connections or backflow or irrigation setup, whatever we're doing. This is where we keep our fire hose. Normally this is locked up on that pole. We've got 100 foot at 3/4 inch. This is the new Fierce Jet Hydroflex hose. This goes directly to the tank on a float valve. Same thing down here, directly to the tank, but this is 200 foot here. So this hose is a lot thicker. So we're only able to fit 200 on an 18 and 100 up top here. Over here, I'll jump back over here real quick. We've got our carbon fiber poles. So this one is our pure water window cleaning pole and brush inside of the pole holder bracket, and then this one's kind of like a gutter or softer scrub brush for whatever we need to do with it, and then we just have a push broom. Some of this stuff is not 100% complete. We've been trying to get caught up from the accident that we were involved in when somebody rear-ended us, so there's some stuff that's kind of just thrown together right now that we're going through cleaning up. But one of those being all these turbo nozzles and stuff over here. But this is where we're currently keeping all of our spare parts. So we're testing out these new Aqua Rocket, looks like corn on the cob turbo nozzles. They've been pretty sweet, but that's currently where all that stuff's at. Plumbing here is just suction hoses and drop tubes that go to the machines. So that's what all that is. Moving down over here, we've got a downstream block. This is going to be your water and your bleach selector. So depending on what you're trying to do for downstreaming, you just select between the two and it comes over here and then gets distributed to the machines. So up here, we've got our 12-volt system, our toggle switch for the 12-volt system on a SICK bracket that's mounted on the hose reel. Down here, we've got our pure water system. So this is what those filters are on the back of the truck. And pretty much all you do is turn this on here. You got a little gauge right here that's going to bring in about 100 to 220 ppm, and then pushing out, it's anywhere from 0 to 10 ppm, just kind of depending on what their water source is and stuff like that. So this is being discharged back to the tank because that wastewater has to go somewhere, and because of how much water we are going through, we don't have to worry about the tank water getting contaminated. So back here we've got our AR-45 hose reel, 5/8 hose, 200 foot. And then down here we've got about 400 or 500 foot of 3/8 pressure hose that's just storage. So this is a storage reel. These can be storage reels, but the rest of them are plumbed to their respective tanks. Back here we've got kind of our operations area. 12-volt system on our GF valves, AR on our Asahi valves. We got 3 Flow Pro systems. This here is the downstream selector to each machine. So everything is orientated on the truck as you're looking at it from the back of the truck here. So this is going to control the left machine, this is going to control the center, and so on. Down here we have a soap and neutralizer selector for the 12-volt system. And then down here, same thing, but for the AR, and it's got a third auxiliary one if we wanted to if we wanted to upstream Gold Assassin or something random, we can just hook up a drop tube to this, put it in a bucket, and then spray it through the AR. So that's kind of the majority of stuff here. We got our ratio chart here, our labels for the valve, so it's very easy to tell what's going on. We got a remote rinse light for the AR here. Bring you over here and show you the back of the truck. Got our electric start AR-45 custom fuel tank delete kit made by ourselves. So you can bypass the little tiny tank that's on top, and it draws from the fuel cell that's under there. So it's also got an hour meter on there, so you can keep track of maintenance. We've got 3 GX690 pressure washers that have the TSF 2021 pump on them, and it is a gear drive setup. That's what I prefer, because they're not going to leave you down in the field with a broken belt or something crazy going on. So, and then this is kind of the back view of the truck right now. We've got all clear housings for the bed lights. We've got safety flashers. We've got reverse lights, backup camera, kind of the whole 9 yards as far as making it look as modern as possible. Recessed license plate and backup camera just to reduce kicking stuff up. This truck has a hitch. It tows really, really well, and fuel mileage really isn't that bad. We got a full cage here, so this thing is pretty beefy. It's all, I believe, 2-inch square tubing or 2.5-inch square tubing all the way around. It's one of the nicest ladder racks I've personally seen. So we got all our stuff up there right now. Again, it's not 100% completed. We're going to be putting a platform up at the front to use as kind of like a mobile boom lift, so we can stand up there and spray, the side of a commercial building or whatever. And then we're doing some ladders up to the ladder rack and then a surface cleaner rack on this side. I'll bring you around over here and kind of show you the back side of where most of the stuff is being done. So currently we're keeping our surface cleaners right here, just tied to the pole, so you'll see these circle indentations, but again, it's just temporary. But we've got our Flow Pro systems back here. So those are all nice and organized. Everything's pretty easy to tell. We've got our unloaders on quick connects. So again, everything is easy to be replaced. Filters on each machine, ball valves on each machine to be able to, clean those out. Stainless Sudsucker injectors on each of the machines. And then over here, we've got our fill ports for both of the fuel tanks. So there's 2 22-gallon Boyd's fuel tanks down here. So you can just pull up to the gas station, open these up, fill up your tanks, and then you can just check your, fuel level here, and everything's good to go. So that makes using and just kind of maintaining the stuff really, really easy. Battery box back there, again, with 2 deep cycle batteries, soap tank brackets, pretty much just a bunch of stuff that makes life a lot easier. We've got 2 100-gallon slim lines. One is for our 100% concentrated SH. The other is for our batch mixing. So yeah, we can pour whatever we need in there. I mean, it's kind of just your basic stuff, just in a little bit larger capacities. I already talked about these, but Buyers aluminum toolboxes. These things are awesome. They're really high quality. You definitely get what you pay for regarding that. They don't leak. They don't, get water and all that kind of stuff into them. So, all right. So I've been working off this truck for about a month now. I wanted to get this video out a lot sooner, but we did have quite a bit of work to get caught up on. The accident just put us in a bad spot, and we're trying to get that stuff done because people are going to move on if you're not ready to go. So, couple things with the truck is right off the bat, the 4500 is kind of misleading. My prior wash truck was an F450 single cab, so I already knew what to expect is what I thought going into another 4500 slash 450 build. It was going to be stiff suspension, good payload capacity, all that stuff. This thing books at like 9 or 10,000 pounds of payload capacity. Even without the water tank, without a drop of water in it, without a drop of water in anything, just dry weight of the equipment, this whole thing will still, it still shifts a good bit. So with that being said, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it on the mic if it picks it up, but there's kind of like a rubber bushing sound. If you come over here, we have already put in some leaf springs on this truck, and let's see if I can get you a good angle here. You can see how close the bed is to the tire on this side. That's probably about, we'll say about 2 fingers there. But on this side over here, it's probably like 3 to 4 fingers. Yeah, almost 5 fingers. So the majority of the weight's coming from the hose reels and the water weight of the hoses being in there and all that kind of good stuff. And I've already dropped about $1,500 on helper springs for the rear on each side. I think they put like 3 in. So all that to say, if you're considering doing a build similar to this, budget a couple grand extra to do leaf springs. This is going to get back or drop back off here soon to get more leaf springs done on this side, on the rear, to try and bring it balanced, and then on the front. So that's been really the only headache with this thing. Is I was under the impression that we were going to be in the same boat as like the 450, to where we weren't going to have to touch any of that stuff just based on book. Like, it says it holds 10,000 pounds, and we're not even, like, I get, when this thing's full, like, it is what it is. It's gonna sag, but we're not going but a couple miles an hour through an apartment complex. But just dry weight with this having some water weight in it, that kind of threw me for a loop, and it wasn't what I was expecting. So I would say out of everything on this truck, that is the one issue that we've experienced so far, is just trying to equal out some of that payload capacity. As far as working off of this thing, I love it. We're typically running, 2 8-gallon minute machines when we're surface cleaning. So it makes it really easy just to come over here, hook up what we need to the ball valves, stretch it out. We don't run the stuff through the hose reel anymore, just makes it a lot easier. That reduces a lot of your hose problems that you have with blowing hoses and all that. And you can just hook up a 50-footer or 75-footer or a 200-footer, depending on what you're doing, and you can get a little bit more flow and stuff out of it. So that's one of my favorite things so far, just being able to, hook that stuff up to it, and then having everything just in one area here to where you can operate off of it, do what you need to do. And it's very easy to, train the guys on, hey, go turn this red valve to, whatever. Other than the suspension issue, really the only other thing I wish I could have changed, but we ran into the road bump with the suspension, is putting on some more storage reels. So I wanted to have a 1/2-inch hose on here for when we're running the mower or curb attachment, or if we're running 3 machines, it would just make it a lot easier to just have an undermounted 1/2-inch reel that we could just drag the thing off and do what we need to do. But we've got something coming in the works for that. That will kind of solve that problem, but it's not going to be on the right side here, where it's just going to be weighing that stuff down more. So as far as fuel mileage, as far as operations of the truck, gas versus diesel, hopping in and going, all that stuff, this truck's been amazing. Turning radius is amazing. I really have no complaints. We go through pretty much any drive-through that we want, Chick-fil-A's, Taco Bell's, all that kind of good stuff. And there's not any issues of clearance. There's not any issues of turning. We've only run into one that we just couldn't, make the turnaround. That was like a PDQ, which theirs are really weird with their drive-throughs. But the fuel mileage is fine. Going from like Jacksonville to Daytona with a trailer behind it that weighs like 3,000 to 5,000 pounds. I mean, it might take a half tank of fuel, which is like $50, to get there, and it's like 100 miles or so. So I mean, it's really not bad, and just being able to hop in the truck, start it, go, everything on its gas. There's no hot box right now, so there's no misconceptions for fuel quality or anything like that. You don't have to worry about it, and yeah.